Hello everyone, this is Eric from Overland by Eric. Back here with another video, this time about fridges and coolers. Is this really necessary to have a DC electric fridge for overlanding? Absolutely not. You can get by up to 5 days of adventure without having an electric fridge and dealing with the cost and power issues come with it. However, is it really nice to have an electric fridge or not to worry about refilling the ice in remote areas, as well as you can control the temperature of the goods that are inside there if the electrical part has been done right. So today I want to just concentrate mainly on the electrical fridges, but a quick touch on the coolers and ice bags. Should someone not to want to have one of those fridges, how can we do an effective overlanding with another basic ways of keeping your food cold? At a basic form of it, you can have the $20 cooler and have some ice and some food, and then if you wrap it in Ziplocs and keep them separated from the ice, that would last a long time, and you can have your food not perished up to 2 or 3 days, which most of us as a weekend warriors, we do this kind of overlanding on daily basis or on a weekly basis. Another thing that I really like about the AO coolers that I'm gonna mention here was these coolers are very light, and you can fold them down if you're not using them, and it takes less spaces and less weight, and you can have ice on one side wrapped around a towel with obviously a bag in it and then towel, and then have your food near the other side and last up to 5-6 days. However, if you are in a location that you cannot refill the ice, I don't think that would be a good solution for you. So what I'm suggesting is electric DC cooler like a Dometic CFX3 IM55. This unit just came out a couple of years ago. I bought this last year, and this is my 11-month review on a fridge and freezer in this size. First thing, I was looking for something that lasts me for a long time. I didn't want something that it breaks easy. Second thing that was really important to me was type of compressors used in that fridge. Most of these freezers, they use either Danfoss, the Denmark made Danish-based company compressors, or they use C-cop, which is a German-made. So was the Dometic CFX, but that was before the last version of it, which is this one, CFX3. They make their own compressors, which has a way of starting and stop, even if it's a DC motor, which there is no frequency over there, but there is a way of starting and stopping this fridge with nice ramp of speed going up and down, so that way it lasts the fridge longer, and it is very efficient in as far as using the power. Since we mentioned the power usage, these fridges are power sucker. Number one, you have to plug it in at home and cool it down before you take it out there. If you wanted to cool it down in the car, it will take most of your battery. It takes a long time too. As well as your food. You cannot just buy the drinks and food from supermarket and just throw it there. You have to pre-cool it in the home condition, which you have an AC plug on this side of this fridge, which I'm gonna just point it to it, and this is your AC side. And then you should take this out there with a DC power source with you. Usually what people do, they plug it in the back of their SUVs, which there is a cigarette plug for that. There's a couple of problems with that one. That cigarette plug is not rated for amount of power this thing needs, and then very soon it starts heating up, drops the voltage, and this device has a monitoring system that shuts down when the voltage drops from a certain point. Even your car battery is not that low in that point, but it shows at the back of the vehicle your voltage drop is very low, so it shuts down and your food goes bad. If you read the reviews about this device, most of the people had that issue, that say the negative review says, oh, I don't like this device because a few hours later that I plugged in, it turned off and my whole food goes perished. The problem is not this machine, is that safety feature that they put here, that instead of you, it decides. And if you think that the app that comes with it will help you with that one and gives you the warning, it's not. I have the app on my phone and it doesn't do the job. The app graphics looks good, but it doesn't work as it says. So what's the solution for that one? If you see some videos on YouTube, there's some people that do the right thing. They get the thicker gauge wire, a bigger diameter wire from the battery straight all the way to the back of the vehicle, and they use the correct type of plug. Instead of cigarette plug, ARB and Dometic, they both make those kind of receivers that you can plug this in, and it's a twist-on plug. I don't think it's Anderson, it's a different type, I don't know the name of it, but that helps you to keep this from vibrating and coming out, as well as the wiring for this one is going to be a better type of wiring. So another solution people do, they do dual battery, which I kind of reluctant to do that. This is the reasons. First of all, the cost. Basically just the bracket for those batteries are $200 till $500. Then it comes with a solenoid valve, some of them, which it heats up in some situation and turns off the vehicle because it cuts off the battery, which I see in some videos, and I see in person some people had issues with the dual battery system. And if your vehicle is still in warranty, I don't think you want to temper to your battery system in that point. Another issue with that is if you put a dual battery bracket, that means you're going to buy another battery. Besides the cost, you're going to have a 50-pound, 60-pound added to the front of the vehicle. The weight, cost, and alternating to the warranty, it's not a good solution. If your battery is not enough for all that, so what's the best solution in that case? To my opinion, if you have one of those systems, you do really need a battery pack that lasts a little bit for you, obviously. But then if you pair it with the solar panel, a battery pack, whether it's your car battery or this battery or any battery, it's a power storage unit. It's not power generating unit. That means you can use the power out of it, and then you're not gonna have any power there. However, a solar panel, an alternator for your vehicle, or any generator, those are power generating units. So that thing, as long as you have a sun, is gonna use the sunshine, turn it to the battery, to the electrical power, and then feeds your battery. As you refill the battery, you're going to have a cooled, icy drinks inside your fridge. Now, let's say sun goes down and then it's time to sleep in your Overland gear. You just have to switch your charging input from a solar to a plug-in to your cigarette plug. So basically overnight you're gonna use your cigarette plug to charge your batteries pack, and a battery pack will keep this one rolling. The advantage of that is you're using now, if you put it on the easy ways, you're using two buckets. A big bucket fills out the small one fills out the fridge. So the big one to small one, that little gauge wire is good enough. I checked that one for 300 watt device. And then from your battery pack to fridge, this wire doesn't have any shutdown issues, so it's gonna, this is a lithium battery, so it goes down to all the way 8 volts and still fridge works. You can try this at home if you wanna fact check my kind of discovery on this thing. So this all together, this setup will cost some money. I understand that one, but if you're thinking about overlanding without altering your vehicle, this solution is one of the greatest solution for that. Back to this Dometic CFX3 IM. IM stands for ice maker. Ice makers, it's not that great. There is the structure of this thing consists of two baskets. One of them has a divider in the middle, and an ice maker is at the bottom of it. This is not that big of an ice tray that you would think, but if you like ice, I would take care of it. You can always have an extra small ice chest with a lot of ice on it. Well, the older models don't have ice makers. I don't know. I would, if I have to do it again, I would do Dometic CFX3. Another thing was the fitment. If you watch one of the videos, the competition for this is ARB, is National Luna, and there's a bunch of other brands out there. Snowmaster, SNO, Snowmaster. They have a dealer in Texas, but they're also from South Africa, I believe. Those are really good devices, but the problem with those, to my opinion, is first of all, I prefer a plastic or a polyvinyl case that doesn't get dented that easy. Basically, this doesn't get that easy as the other one. Second, is not as conductive as the other one. Basically, if you leave this outside, it doesn't absorb as much as a steel case under the sun would heat up, because it's not that conductive. So however, I like all of them, but I would do this again. And the fitment, as I mentioned earlier, is a big thing. None of those brands, ARB or Snowmaster, in this size, which is 55 liter, even the 50 liter does not fit in the back of Jeep Wrangler with a little folding table on it. So it was really important to me. So at 31 or 32 inches length, with the way that the reclining seats is there, will not fit in Wrangler if you buy ARB. There are videos, you should check it, and you're going to end up put this in there in a perpendicular to the vehicle, and takes the whole space, and it's not easy to operate. In my case, I can fit with the handles easily, and my folding table just stops there, and it doesn't give you too much room to play, which is great in off-road condition. It doesn't move around. So the fitment was great, and then the compressor was really good. Price wise, I think it's a little bit higher than what it is, and sometimes it goes on sale and you can buy it for less, but still I would choose it for that 3-4 reasons I said. However, what I don't like about those devices is, first of all, this top cover. Overall, the cover is not that insulated compared to other brands. So you do have a cover, but it's not that insulated. I can add some insulations, that tiny insulations there, and then get a better result. Another thing that is really big problem with this are those hooks. They go right under these rubber seals. It's really difficult to operate it without being worried about cutting it. And as you see, before I do that, this was closed. You would think it's closed and it says it's going to send you an alarm. It doesn't. It doesn't send an alarm to my app, but it's still open. And if you hear that click, was the latch that was open. So I think they could do better on the cover, and I don't want to get rid of it because it helps a little bit. And another thing here that I would do it differently. When they manufactured this thing, everything else is in a good quality, especially the baskets. I like it. I can see the refrigeration goes everywhere there, and I can feel it's really cold. Even we are on the solar, it's not AC battery. But these rivets, I even see this on videos before I purchased it, and I knew it's gonna be like that. This rivet and this seam, there's other ways of doing this together. There's different ways of welding that you don't need to have that seam there. Over the time, the water is gonna leak in there, and I don't like that part. Other than that, it's very roomy in there. You can feed a family for days. And the light, I see everybody is talking about it, but it's not a big deal for me. Display at front, it's a small display that shows 37 degrees right now. Even though I open and close for this video, it still keeps on 37. And then there's another battery protection, which I mentioned earlier. That's for when you put it on the vehicle battery. If it dies, it's gonna before it dies, it's gonna shut it down. That way it avoids you being stranded out there with an automatic transmission. But again, I think it's unnecessary, because first of all, it doesn't send you the alarm that the fridge is off. Second, I think every Overlander, before a fridge, he needs to have a battery pack jump starter like this one. I learned this in the hard way because my niece got stranded one time, and her cell phone died, and her car battery died, and she didn't have one of those, and there's no service there. Some good Samaritan just give a jump start, and she was back when we were worried. That, if you have it, you don't need a battery protection. There is no way to bypass that one. And let's say if you have a stick shift, then it's not even an issue. Just put it on the second gear and hot start it. That's it. Besides the app, the cover, and the way the top cover sits there, and the seam on that, everything is positive about this unit. Do I take it every time out there? No, because a lot of trips that I do, I'm very comfortable with a small cooler with a little bit food in there. You can even manage your trip all the way to Baja as a couple and back without any cooler. You just have a dry food. If you don't believe me, check overlandbond.com. Michael will tell you about that. However, it's a nice to have a device, and I believe it's one of the items that once you have it, it's really hard to go back to the cooler. But if you just make mix and match between these two, you will have always good time. However, if you're a fishing fan and enthusiastic, I don't think you want to throw the fish in there because it's going to stink forever. You still want to have a cheap cooler for your fish. So this is only for food and drinks, and it has a drain at the bottom, but there's stuff that it's going to stink forever if you leave it there. That said, I would again recommend this Dometic, especially for Jeep Wrangler owners. And this device I didn't buy with any discount. As I mentioned in my channel, I don't take any discounts from everybody. From Cruiser Off-Road, it's a very famous place in Glendale, California, that other YouTubers used to go there a lot. And I bought this last year, my birthday, for $1,200 plus I think $150 for the cover. And again, they give me a military discount, 5%. So it's one of my favorite devices. Again, just something that you enjoy to have it, but if you're on a budget, it's best to spend it on something else than on a cooler. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please don't forget to put the dislike twice, push the like once, and subscribe. Thank you.